You have 30 seconds to write down your observations.
What are the observations about?
Just what you see in the picture, what it's an advertisement for, who you see in the picture, things like that. Layout. 10 seconds.
I was trying to vote and I didn't have enough time.
Okay. Hyro. Amelia.
Hyro's a senior.
Hyro's a senior. I'm sorry, Hyro. Brian then.
Hi.
Who else? Rashawn. Christopher. Is that 5? Raise your hands if I called you. 2, 4. Can I have a volunteer for a 5th person?
Jordan.
Okay. Jordan. Okay. All 5 of you come up to the front and write down one of your observations.
Yeah.
Okay. Now before we go back to this advertisement, I want you guys to think about what an observation is. What kinds of things do you look for when you're thinking about observations?
Color.
Color?
Tone. Or mood.
Tone? I thought you said tongue. Tone? Size?
Price range, I guess.
Price range?
Product.
Product? Do you think about what the argument might be?
Yeah.
The argument? Okay, so when you do an observation, you're going to look for these couple of things, right? So let's look over here at our observations. So we've got color. What would you say the tone of this advertisement was? I know you only got 5 seconds, but happy,
Fancy.
soothing.
I would say around that.
Size, probably magazine size. What do you think the price range is? Rashawn, why did you say the price range might be expensive? What makes you say that?
Just because, just the way that the product, because how they were advertising it, that they used the big star.
Because they used Big Star. So the ethos that they used
The big Stia.
might suggest that the product is expensive, right? Okay. So what we're going to end up doing today is you're going to observe a picture for a minute. You're going to have a partner. So both partners will observe the picture. That does mean write down observations. That means both partners write down observations. One partner will present the information to the other partner. And you're going to do that in the form of an explanation, which gives you observations, right? So who can tell me the difference between an explanation and analysis?
Analysis is like evidence, right? Well, like, kind of describing.
But what do you do with the evidence?
You prove it. Well,
You prove it.
Well,
Or you add to it.
You add to it, maybe. You prove it, you add to it, maybe you ask some questions about it.
Yeah.
And then analysis is going to be what?
Something that links it all together or puts it all together.
There you go. So,
No, you're not. I'm just on fire today, okay?
okay.
Yeah.
So, if you take
Maybe if you put it in simpler words.
If you take this picture, what does it tell us about the difference between an explanation and your analysis? Take a second to look at it. Okay, so let's start with observation. What do we see here?
Eyes.
Eyes.
Yeah.
And what is this eye doing?
Just looking.
Walking.
Walking, maybe?
It has a pattern on. It has a pattern on top.
The pattern up top. What's he doing with this pattern?
Try to solve it.
Analysis. He's reading.
Not yet. He's looking at it. So far, this is just an observation. This is what he sees.
Yeah.
And he can explain what the pattern is, right?
I don't. Sorry.
So right here,
It's running down.
will be your explanation.
Did you check colors?
So what's happening in
Should
this
have
one?
one. Heidenberger.
Question.
He's thinking about it, he's questioning it,
My buddy.
he's analyzing it.
It's just the corner by the stairs over there. You're welcome. I'm sorry.
And his questioning of it is going to turn into his analysis. Does that make sense? So you're going to do basically the same thing with the pictures that I showed you. You're going to take some observations, you're going to look at the shapes, the colors, I erased it already. Everything else about the advertisement that you're looking at, you're going to give an explanation to your partner, but just the explanation for today. We'll get to questioning and analysis later. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So going back to our picture of Beyonce here. Now that you've got another second to observe, what do we see?
See a product.
We see a product. What's the product?
Hair dye.
Hair dye. What else do we see? Who's this?
Famous singer Beyonce.
Beyonce. So, because Beyonce is here, Brian, what do we call that?
We call that ethos.
We call that ethos. And Rashawn, what does that suggest?
That,
That the product might be
Pricey.
expensive. Who's our audience probably going to be?
Us. Women. Well, whoever's watching TV, pretty much.
Whoever's watching TV, but who is it? Who is it aimed for? Who do they want to sell the product to? Women.
Tryhards who want to look like Beyonce.
So women who want to look like Beyonce
Yep, they want to be
will buy this hair dye so that they can look like Beyonce, right?
Yeah.
Very good. Now, from your experience, women, is Faria that expensive? It's one of the pricier ones, but is it the most expensive?
No.
No.
$4.
I know the one that's the
$4.
cheapest is like Revlon. Because it's only like $4 a box.
Alright, so just based on this, we see that it's Beyonce, we see that it's Ethos, we see that it's possibly expensive, not necessarily, and we see that it's a hair dye product. And so that's what we've pulled out of that as far as just our observations go. Now we could go further into what we're thinking about and say yes or no, this is expensive, we can analyze why it might be expensive, etc. Does that make sense? So all you're going to do is come up with this kind of thing with your partner. So first you're going to look at the picture, you'll both make observations. You are going, and then one partner will present their observations to the other partner. You'll discuss the picture. We'll kind of discuss it as a class. And then when we get to the next picture, you'll switch. Does that make sense? So, your first picture to look at will be this one. You have 1 minute to observe. That should be everybody. And it would probably be best if you wrote down your observations.